What's up, guys? Welcome to week number 4 in Tom's guitar journey. Here we are. One of the main questions I've seen in the comments in these videos is, how does Bulletproof Guitar Player, that course, and Ross Campbell's stuff integrate, or does it integrate with Tom Quayle's intervals and that whole intervallic approach to seeing things? And I thought, well, I don't know why you're asking me. I don't know. I'm in the midst of this. I'm trying to figure it out. So instead, I just went straight to the source. Ross, welcome to the Tom Norman Music channel. I'm so stoked that we're on a call. One of the main questions people keep on asking is, how does your Bulletproof Guitar Player method, course, program integrate, or does it integrate with the more sort of intervals approach to things, i.e. Tom Quayle's approach and course? So it was awesome. I managed to chat with Ross and we had like a 10-minute conversation. I'm going to post that as a separate video on this channel. For now, let's crack on with a progress update for my playing this week. This week has been a very intense one in terms of guitar practice. I did an hour a day most days, and then one day I did 2 hours, another day I did an hour and a half. So it's been pretty full on, but more than just the time, that time has been the most focused and efficient time I've ever done in terms of guitar practice. And it's because I've been practicing the interval stuff. And I'm at a stage in Tom Quayle's course where he's like talking about practicing chord changes. So in his solo app, I'm on the stage where the app will like spit out a random note. So it's like, I don't know, E flat. And it says like, right, you need to play the 3, the 7, and the root. So I'm like, okay. All right. But the way that you should do it is break it up into like 5 frets and 3 strings. So for 5 minutes, you're playing these random notes. It's like G, 3, and 5. Okay. But you can only do that within this limitation of 5 frets and 3 strings. And you do that for 5 minutes. So it's very intense. You take a break, set another 5-minute timer, and this is all timed. And then you do the next 3 strings. So these 3 and the same thing. So like, I don't know, D, 3, 5. Except these 3 strings would be like, right? And then you do that. So I'll put it on the screen now. I've made this table for myself to just make sure that I'm doing all of the string sets up until here. And it's intense, man. It's like brain workout, crossword puzzle level sort of. It's like this facial expression. Gritty, granular practice, which I hate and I absolutely love. Within the spirit of chord changes, what I've been practicing this week is precisely that. So like integrating chordal tones into a general chord progression and playing over the top of a chord progression. What do I mean by that? So you got like what I was playing in the intro, yeah? We got an E, we got a C, and we got a D. E minor. The key is E minor. So immediately I'm thinking, right, where are my E's? And I'm thinking intervals around the E's. Right? Kind of getting where the E's are. Okay, so you could just keep doing that for the whole chord progression, yeah? So the E, playing only sort of E minor sounding things over the whole chord progression works because it's in the key of E minor. the idea. But instead, how can you start playing the chordal sounding stuff over these new chords? Well, I was thinking, right, okay, you just play, I'd like play an E minor scale, and then over the C, I'd play a C major scale. And then over the D, I'd play a D major scale. It doesn't sound quite right. So then I was looking into it, and I already knew this, but I kind of forgot it. You can play any note in the E minor scale at any point. But when you come to a different chord, you're mainly playing the E minor scale, but you're also, where you can, including like triads, so 1, 3, 5 of that next chord. And just so happened to be, because it's a diatonic chord pattern, that any notes in that triad are going to be notes that also fit into the E minor. So this is something I was wrapping my head around, and I've got it. And that was mainly because of Ross's melodic triads thing. So imagine, right, we're doing E minor scale, or let's just keep it E pentatonic for now. No, fuck it, let's go E minor, right? So those notes I'm playing, they're still within the E minor scale. So you got like, and then this one. So you're just choosing the right notes. You're choosing the chordal tones within the scale of the root chord, if that makes sense. That was kind of trippy, and I'm starting to, it's like this brain, like looking at it like this, but starting to work out. I just sort of came up with that beginning improvisation. It's like very basic. There's nothing that interesting going on, but I'm playing the right things, which is like a good foundation, I think. So in terms of my plan for practice, what I've got ahead of me, it looks like, is I think I'm going to finish Tom's course in like a month. And that will be like intense fretboard visualization, 1 hour a day. I'm going to do another month of it. And I think that's key. Like every time that I'm doing his exercises, I'm memorizing the notes on the fretboard more and more. It's like naturally part of it. So it's just going into my brain more and more, as well as the intervals around them in major and minor, which is crazy. Like I'm really think that's very valuable. However, I don't think immediately it's like making me a better guitar player. And the reason is you can't necessarily see it in my progress updates, because it's sort of taken me back a few steps. If I was just focusing on like pentatonic shapes that I already know, the stuff that I'm playing in these sort of beginning and ends of these videos would probably sound a lot better than what I'm doing now, because I'm just way more used to those shapes, and I could just forget any intervals and even forget root notes and just follow the pentatonic shapes. I'm like naturally better at that because I've been doing it for ages. But forcing my brain to think in a different way on the guitar is forcing me to take quite a few steps back, which is tough for my ego because I'm sort of constantly playing in a worse way than I normally would. But it's amazing for my brain and to start making these connections in different ways. I just start to feel stuff opening up a little bit more, which is the whole goal of this. So I was talking to my mate Jack, who's a really advanced guitarist, and he was watching these videos, and he sent me this really nice voice message giving me some feedback.
I think at the moment you're thinking loads about like the intervals and that sort of shit, which is great. Think also a little bit about the guitar playing element of it and not just like the music theory. So what I mean by that is think about your time, like how in time you're being and what feel that you're giving. Something that's really, really useful for that is practicing with a click. And then the other thing I felt like maybe might be useful for you to try is you're plucking quite hard, and that gives a certain sound, particularly on like a Strat. Even though you're thinking a lot about theory and a lot about like fretboard stuff, I think it's always really, really useful to keep technique and guitar things like sounding good, making it feel good from a time perspective. Like there's no point in getting like all this theory shit together if like the notes that you're playing don't sound as good as they could.
So naturally, when you are practicing even something dry like visualization, you're constantly getting better feel, and you're also getting better rhythm. because you're playing with a, which is what I will be doing from this week onwards. And that kind of begs the question, like, what about the rest of the guitar? Like, guitar is not just fretboard visualization. It's so much stuff. It's what I was saying. It's the feel, it's the rhythm, and then it's vocab. And as I said in the last video, the vocab is coming soon. First, I'm going to do another month of this, also focusing on the feel and the rhythm, and then it will be vocab time. And I think my prediction would be that's when you're going to start seeing some more noticeable improvements in my playing when I start integrating other people's vocabulary into and on top of this foundation. So it's been a great week of practice. I'm going to play the outro, some vulnerable improvisation time to check in with the level I am. And I will see you guys next week. See you next week.